Today I am going to share with you a recipe for a wonderful avocado moringa smoothie. And the cool thing or the beneficial thing about this smoothie is that it has amazing anti-inflammatory properties. So the reason why anti-inflammatory foods are the way to go is because chronic inflammation is linked to many of our common illnesses and sicknesses that we probably have or know someone that does. So let's talk about a little bit about inflammation. So in the normal process, inflammation is our body's response or way of responding to harmful bacteria that we may be exposed to, or harmful toxins or chemicals or injury. So when our bodies are exposed to these different external factors, our immune system mounts our inflammatory response. A normal functioning body initiates the immune response as a way to protect and heal the body. So this is the benefit of having an inflammatory response, because every day we're exposed to harmful toxins, chemicals, bacteria, viruses from many different sources. And so we need a healthy inflammatory response. However, the problem comes in when we go from having acute inflammation as a response to certain environmental triggers to chronic inflammation, where our body is always in this heightened state of battle mode, always trying to resolve a threat, but never able to get the job done. That's pretty much what chronic inflammation is in our bodies. So what chronic inflammation does, it damages our DNA, and research has shown that it's really one of the major underlying causes for common diseases that we may have or we know someone in our life that has. So some of these common diseases are heart disease, cancer, type 2 diabetes, irritable bowel syndrome, skin issues such as psoriasis, eczema, gut issues. I mentioned IBS, but there's also ulcerative colitis, there's Crohn's, reproductive issues such as PCOS. As a matter of fact, chronic inflammation worsens PCOS and endometriosis, and really is one of the leading causes of infertility in both male and female. Chronic inflammation can disrupt our sleep, can encourage dementia, depression. So it's linked to so many different things. But the good thing about it is, unfortunately, there's not a magic pill, and we don't really want magic pills, right? We gotta stray away from trying to rely on pills. The good thing about chronic inflammation, or how to resolve chronic inflammation, is that a lot of the answers lies within us. There's things that we can do to minimize chronic inflammation. So one of the major things are changing our diet. Three of the major components, or three of the major factors in our diet that increases chronic inflammation, is sugar. And sugar's in just about almost everything. I'm exaggerating, but things that you should not find sugar in, sugar's in there. So start reading your labels. They put it in there, the food manufacturers put it in there so that it can taste good to keep us coming back for more. And sugar has a very addictive property, but it also is one of the leading causes of chronic inflammation. So you got sugar, you have refined fats and oils, and also artificial sweeteners. So it may sound ironic, right? Because if you're trying to lose weight and you're trying to diet, you typically may go for the diet food that has the artificial sweeteners in it. But there's studies that show that individuals who consume artificial sweeteners on a regular basis, they have a double the increase or double risk for developing obesity. But even though artificial sweeteners don't have sugar in them, they're what makes up the artificial sweetener contributes and promotes a state of chronic inflammation. So you really want to avoid artificial sweeteners. that's something that you can just decide today to, you know what, I'm not going to do that. In many cases, if you're going to make a smoothie or if you're going to sweeten your oatmeal or whatever it is, you can do it with natural sweeteners from fruits and, there's other alternatives. There's stevia and other things like that. But I like to use fruits and berries and bananas for those of us that don't have issues with our, blood sugars, because you got to be careful if you are diabetic, certain fruits that you don't want to eat too much of, okay? But anyways, so you have acute inflammation, which is good, it's healthy, and then you have chronic inflammation. And there are other triggers to chronic chronic inflammation. So it's not just the diet, but stress. Stress can increase or keep us in a state of chronic inflammation. So you have to analyze your life and just take a really deep dive into factors and things that may stress you. It may be toxic situations, it may be toxic people, it may be learning just how to deal with work related issues, family issues, whatever it is. But for your health, you have to learn how to have a healthy relationship with the stressors that come into your life, okay? And try to minimize stress. And you got to get enough sleep. Lack of sleep, not enough sleep, can also create an environment where inflammation can thrive. And believe it or not, our electronic devices, which is a source of blue light, can throw off our circadian rhythm. That's that wake-sleep cycle. So for instance, typically, the way that our body is made up is that we get our light source, main light source from during the day is from the sun, which is good because that minimizes melatonin. It keeps us alert. It keeps us more focused. But now with cell phone use, the TV, the computer, light bulbs, all of these things give off blue light. And so it's kind of tricking our body into thinking that it's daylight. And so when our body thinks that it's daylight, it reduces the production of melatonin. And so now your sleep pattern is off. So try to minimize in the evening time your screen time, television time, cell phone time, whatever it is. That's one way to increase your sleep and help to create an anti-inflammatory environment in your body. And then exercise. Exercise. So we got to get moving because that also helps to decrease inflammation. Okay? Chronic inflammation affects all of our organ systems in different ways. But let's talk about the cardiovascular system. It promotes, when you have high levels of inflammation in the body, it promotes in our cardiovascular system formation of plaque, which kind of clogs the arteries, right? And also formation of blood clots. So what does that mean? That means increased risk for heart attack and for stroke. So with chronic inflammation within our gut, if you say chronic inflammation like so many times, it's kind of like a little tongue twister. But anyways, chronic inflammation in the gut, what that does, it throws off our healthy gut microbiota. And I did a video on that some months back, so take a look and listen. And it's very important to have a healthy gut. Did you know that 70% of our cells in our immune system exist in our gut? So just think about that. So if your gut is not healthy, if your gut is not working at its optimum or optimal capacity, then overall you're not going to be healthy. You're not going to be able to fight off pathogens. Your immune system is going to be in overdrive, and an immune system that's in overdrive leads to chronic inflammation. So these are some things that I want you to think about. There's so many different foods, like foods that are rich in zinc, foods that are rich in magnesium, vegetables, fruits, all of these different types of leafy greens, all of these different types of foods that help to promote a healthy environment and helps to reduce the amount of inflammation in our bodies. And we can't forget our grains like our oats, buckwheats, quinoa, we have beans as well, lentils, all of those things, walnuts, almonds, the list goes on. There's so many different foods that help to promote an environment in our body that reduces inflammation. Okay, so let's get to our smoothie. So what we have here, we have our coconut and almond milk blend. Generally, when I make smoothies, I like to use like an oat milk because I like oat milk is just more creamier. Sometimes I also prefer almond milk, especially if you're doing more of a low carb thing, that almond milk is low in carbs. But because we're talking about anti-inflammation, healthy fats such as coconut is good to help reduce inflammation, as well as our avocados. So we have this is a blend, coconut almond blend. And I'm just gonna pour it in. I don't really do too much measuring. There's 4 of us here, and we typically like a nice size smoothie. So I'm just gonna pour that in. Okay. Then I'm gonna take my avocados that I had already cut open. I'll just put that in there. And I'm just gonna spoon it out. The riper, I think, the better. There we go. I'm just gonna spoon it out, spoon it out. I hate to waste as Conrad would say, the meat. So I'm gonna try to get as much as I can, but avocado is a good source of healthy fat. And it promotes an anti-inflammatory environment. I'll take this as well. Typically the avocados are a little bit more riper, a little bit more ripe, because then it just kind of glides out of the avocado. But we're gonna let this do what it do. And a good thing to use, you don't have to use a banana. Oh, this one here is trying to fight me. Oh, the devil is a liar. Get in there. So you don't have to use a banana, but if you have some bananas that are kind of pretty much ripe, and they're gonna spoil, then smoothies are really a good thing to use the bananas in. So what I have here, so I put in the plant-based milk. It's the coconut almond blend. I threw in about 2 medium-sized or small to medium-sized avocados. And I have a plate here of green pears that are 2 pears, and then 2 green apples. And they also will be a source of a sweet source for the smoothie. And the pears add like a refreshing kind of taste. I'm just gonna throw them in there. Throw it in. There. And then I'm gonna put some kale, because green leafy vegetables are really good. There's so many different things. And I have this coconut yogurt, plant-based yogurt. It adds some creamy texture, and also it adds to our healthy fats, okay? So I'm gonna just throw that in, Okay, you probably, it depends. However, I don't really have any measurements per se. You just kind of go with the flow. For the moringa, I'll put a tablespoon of moringa. So this is going to be a nice scoop of the moringa. This is going to be for 4 of us. And I do like mine. I mean, you can add some chia in there as well. And again, you don't want to put more than a tablespoon of chia. Chia has a way of, could cause bloat if you use too much as well. Remember the chia pets? And I like to put some ice because I need my smoothies to have a little chill to it. Something about a warm smoothie or a room temperature smoothie that just does not sit right in me. What did I forget? Oh, I forgot my banana. How could I forget the banana? That is just not right. Forget the banana. All right, let me just do this. I'll just quickly peel it up. This was kind of really ripe. All right. Let me just throw that in there and just chop it up like that. All right, so let's see, guys, what we have. Got my little Vitamix here. Here we go. I like to make sure all my kale and all of the ingredients are nicely blended together. Let's give it another blend, another. All right, let me just see. Get this thing up here. Okay, looks like it's good. Texture looks good. Because I don't like my smoothies too thick either, but that looks great. Voila, avocado moringa smoothie. Fight that chronic inflammation with this tasty, tasty, tasty smoothie. Thank you. Please share, like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. See you next time.